Good
All right,
morning,
so
beloved.
oops, sorry. I was going to introduce you.
Oh, it's okay. We know who
Well, there
we
she
know who
is.
I
Who needs no introduction? Reverend Michelle Wadleigh.
am. Thank you, Evelyn. And good morning, everybody. Good morning. I'm happy to be here again. This is an unusual month. It's the first time, the first month in 3 years that I've been consistently with you on Sundays. I must admit, I've really been enjoying it. And so, which is great. And since Evelyn was the last person to speak, I want to bring attention to something that's not yet on the radar in our newsletter. And there's a couple of questions that they're going to answer. But Reverend Evelyn, Tony Hamilton, and Shard Caver have been hosting a month. Now it's monthly. It used to be twice monthly. Healing circle for people of African descent, and this started, like I said, over a year and a half ago, and they are now going to be hosting a class, a gathering, monthly, Evelyn, or weekly? Which?
Monthly book study.
Monthly book study on the book Your Grandmother's Hands by Resmaa Menakem. And it's a powerful book. It's actually, if anybody's a therapist in here, they should read that book. Everybody should read that book. It's just really powerful. So I just wanted to let you know that we constantly are coming up with new, wonderful ways to serve you at different levels for different interests. I mean, Dawn Lee, I'm so excited. Her book study is happening. Will be happening, and that's on Neville, and I know a few of you registered. I'm excited because that is juicy work. The book study that I'm doing, which is the book on Mind Over Medicine. If you want to dive into and understand the mind-body relationship as it relates to healing, oh my, because some people moved around, we have 2 places left in the daytime online series, and at night I'm doing it in person. And so if you want to come to Denville, New Jersey, feel free to register for that and join us on Mondays at 6 o'clock. But anyway, these are all the things that your leaders, your practitioners, your ministers are trying to do behind the scenes so that you have something to grab hold of. And I want you all to hear me. Remember, for those of you who've been around for a long time, we moved from 662 Eagle Rock, and we moved to Caldwell, and there was excuse me, there was a lot of concern about parking. And kind of whimsically, I kept saying to you, don't worry, Jews walk the temple, you can find parking. And we did that for months and months, and we kind of laughed about it. But the fact is, it worked out. So what happened was we chose not to object to something. And so a better and a higher way of doing things, higher in that we relaxed and it worked out. It showed up. I don't remember anybody ever walking the door and say, oh, I didn't find parking. Never in the 5 years we were there. Now I'm saying that to you now to say, I fully, completely understand. I understand. For those of you who don't love Zoom, I understand it. However, what I also know is that as we object to something, we create an experience that is less than lovely. So while we're still seeking to create solution, and there are some people here that if we didn't have Zoom, they would be missing out on us. So I am asking you to learn how to accept and adopt and not judge something so that you can open yourself to a greater experience, because all of that activity creates upset, whether you realize that initially or not. Anyway, I just wanted to say all that because after listening to Evelyn and then Dawn Lee, we are here for you. We are here for you and working hard on your behalf. Okay. Peace practice. So everybody just Free your hands for a moment. Free your hands. Put your palms up. Take a breath. Settle your body. Why is that meaningful? Because when your body is settled, you choose what comes next, mindfully, powerfully. Feel the peace that comes the moment you turn your attention inward. Allow the love of this community to be your focus right now. Oh, the people, there are people in here that have been, we've been through so much recently. We've been through so many losses. We've lost sisters and brothers and fathers and mothers. We've had surgeries. We've had all sorts of surgeries. Everybody in here is going through the human experience at some level. But when we turn to that inner quiet, to the inner peace, the peace that can be cultivated through presence, we increase our ability to heal. We increase our ability to walk on the planet, making a difference. Let us be that together. So just feel into that for another moment, and then I'm going to ask you to repeat after me, but feel first. I am the peace that I want to see. I know this peace from my community. I know this peace from my family. And my community knows this peace for the world. Take another breath. And please get that you are generating something when you do that. So thank you for participating. So this is week 3 of the, this week 3 of January, second week in our series, our yearly series. And God works through us. That's my title for today. And I remember the very first time I heard that. I remember my spiritual teacher saying that that God needed us. And I remember thinking, how is that possible? How could God need me? Why? How could that be real? But I don't think, I entertained the idea then, but it wasn't until my full study of science of mind did I get what she meant. And as I always say to you, my suspicion was that she was studying science of mind, but never called it science of mind. You are required, you are necessary in order for spirit, God, life, whatever, Christ consciousness to demonstrate. You are required because it is your yes. It is your I accept. It is your I believe. It is your I am willing. It is your I allow. This is your contract with spirit to do what it does through you. It is impossible to work otherwise, right? It is you open the door. And so I have an analogy I want to bring to you today, because let's establish what it is. And by the way, by a raise of hands or a note in chat, is there anyone in here where the term Christ consciousness is a trigger? Does anyone have a trigger with that? I'm just curious. Okay. One or two. Okay. So, and I'm only asking because it's interesting how language impacts us. Language impacts our receptivity to things. And I have, me, the spiritual leader of this community, I have had to learn how to be open to new language, because there are many things that has not worked for me, at least when I was younger. Now I'm more able, more willing, more open, much more open. But I think it's good for us to respect each other and to understand that some of us have objections to certain language, and it's okay. And it's okay. So here's the thing. The power that is, I'm going to ask you to put in the chat, if you're willing, what's your favorite name for it? What is your favorite name or quality? What do you like to call it? Now, there was a long time I didn't call it God, but now I just love the word God, but I also love love. God, okay, so anybody else putting it in the chat? Let me see. God, love, spirit. Is there more? God. So a lot of people are good with God. Universal. Okay. Oh, they're jumping in now. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Okay, you've heard me say this before, but by any name, we're talking about the same thing. By any name, please do not allow my language to get in the way of your experience. I also do love calling it love, I must admit. So here's the thing, whether it's love or spirit, divine intelligence, the ultimate stuff, all of that is everywhere present. Here's what I've got. I need you to walk away with today. You are immersed in it. Wait a minute, I'm putting on the caption, by the way, just so we can have captions. Okay. Give me 1 second, folks. I want to make sure everybody that's in here. Neil, can you help me with this? Did the captions come on yet? Nope. Okay, hold on, folks. I want to make sure that the captions are on for those who need it in here. We have been working with it. Okay. Hopefully it's working now.
I just put it up.
Oh, beautiful. Okay, is it working? If you want the captions, you have to click on the thing at the bottom of your Zoom. So hopefully that works. Somebody give me a thumbs up to let me know if it's working. Oh, good. Thank you. Yay, good. I'm so glad we can do that for you, beloved Pat. So good to have you visiting from Maine. So, and you see, if it wasn't for Zoom, she couldn't be with us today. What a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing that is. Okay, let's get back, all right? So this thing, by any name, is just everywhere. You and I are breathing it. We're breathing it as I'm speaking to you. There's no time, no way, no how to be out of it, because it is you. And I know that in some teachings that would be heretical to say, but it is you. And it needs our humanness. It needs our humanness to demonstrate itself. It needs that. So every single thought, every word, every ponderance, everything, and this is where it gets big, because it is the all of you, and it responds through the all of you. It is not only when you're praying. It is not only when you're speaking. It is not only when you are in meditation. It is all the time. So if you're married and you're cleaning the house and you think your partner is messy and you're cleaning and complaining and cleaning and complaining, that complaining has a little bit more feeling tone than just words. So your body creates a response through the complaining. And that becomes part of the filter through which spirit shows up in you. Okay. So if you can agree with me, and you can give me a thumbs up or just do this, that spirit is everywhere present. It's everywhere. Can you agree with me for this moment? Okay, great. Not everybody agrees, but that's okay. So here it is. All right, lovely. So if it's like this, like, and imagine that we're in the soup of it. It is a glorious divine soup. We breathe it, we eat it, we speak it, blah, blah. But here's what happens. When doubt or fear has our attention, when doubt, fear, and other limiting beliefs, when that has our attention, it's like we're in the soup. Imagine the soup now to be the ocean. And so you go into the ocean, but you're wearing a diver suit, a full helmet diver suit, and you're completely covered, completely covered. So while you're in the waters of spirit, you are absolutely, you've cut yourself off from it. And that's what happens when we entertain fear, when we don't cultivate our spiritual practices, when we get caught up in the humanity of the human experience, of the collective. We're immersed, but unavailable. You get that? And then we start to grow a little bit and we think, okay, I'm going to try a little harder. So what happens is we get rid of our full diving suit with the helmet and all the breathing apparatus. And we go into a, what's it called? A wetsuit. We go into a wetsuit. So we think, okay, I'm available, but we go into the water, but now we're slightly unavailable. We're trying, we're tiptoeing, but we're still not quite available. And then what happens is when we work a little harder and we decide to open our mind and heart a little bit more, we throw off the wetsuit and we go snorkeling. So now we're watching, we're looking and we're watching. We're in the water, we're thinking, this is pretty good. But we're still not quite there. Let me tell you what there is. Leaping off of a cliff and diving without looking for a net into the waters of spirit, diving in. Can you get that? Can you get the progression that happens when we practice and when we commit? And when you dive in and now you are immersed in the beautiful living waters of spirit, you are alive in that, and it is alive in you. But there's another aspect. So there is this place where we know that it is completely available all the time, right? We know that. And yet, depending upon what we've done with our consciousness, it's possible that our consciousness has some toxic ideas in it. The toxic ideas, the toxic belief system, the superstition. Remember the old, we don't talk about superstitions much, but we used to talk about them in class all the time. You know, the don't sit on cold stones, otherwise you'll get. Don't go out in the cold, you'll get a cold. Don't put your handbag on the floor. Don't, all these things that people have superstitions about. I know there's Tony, she still buys it. It is absolutely not true. It is a superstition. It is a superstition. We'll discuss it later, Tony. Excuse me, my nose is itchy today. So what happens is when those toxic ideas are there, they interrupt the free flowing form, the free access. This is the reason why I'm downright, and I know maybe to the degree annoying about the whole emotional health thing, because your emotional health, your self-awareness, your work is how you clear up the toxic waters and have it be clear. In February, we are doing a 28-day practice. If you could put that in the chat, that'd be great. A 28-day free practice of non-judgment. We've done this over the years where I've asked you to practice non-judgment for a month, but now I have material for you, and I'm going to send you daily emails so that you receive a daily reminder. It's completely free. There'll be some pop-up things on Facebook, but here's the reason. A mind that is caught up in judgment, a mind that is caught up in complaining, gossiping, finding fault, and blaming, all of those things, is a mind that is not equally available to the loving, compassionate flow of God. They can't contain the same space, folks. So God needs you, but it needs you to be the best you possible. It needs you to be the most loving you possible. It needs you and as a community. So if we say yes, if you happen to agree with anything I'm saying, and we collectively say yes, and we go forward, it's like you're there, like, like on a team, like a scrum in a rugby team, where you're locked arm in arm, and you're going forward, and you're heading down the field to open up space. Some of us, we have a fair amount here of gray-haired individuals. That's my loving term or no hair. That's my loving term for us older folks. Now, it's a beautiful thing, because we're the elders, we're the carrier of wisdom. We are the carriers of a legacy of life, of hurt, of pain, of loss, of raising children and knowing the joy of children and knowing the pain of children. We have been in relationships, we've been divorced. Some of us have done that multiple times. Who am I talking about? Anyway, so here's the thing. It might not be at this age that you want to start a new business or you want something big, but there's still the desire to increase the love, say, in your relationships. Using spirit through you to change the texture of your life. Knowing that there's no limit. Our legacy is how you show up in the world. Do you show up as kind? Is that what you're communicating to family and friends? If some of you might have seen, well, actually, very few people paid attention to it. I put a post on my Michelle Wadleigh Facebook page, and it was a video, a reel that I saw in Facebook. And I don't even know who this guy was, to be perfectly honest, but he was holding a little baby in his arms. And the man himself was getting applause. And when the people applauded, the baby applauded. So what the lesson was, and he was saying this directly, that child learned to clap and applaud because he was listening to it. If we are going to be a potent and powerful community, I encourage us to embrace these changes so that when we walk down the street, we do so metaphorically arm in arm, because I know we're not together, and that we impact the world, and that our legacy is love, and that our legacy is truth, and that our legacy is possibility. And when we lean into each other, this is what happens. Science of Mind opens the space. It absolutely opens the space for this. I'm sorry, I know that there is a level of happiness and joy that it is right, it's right there within our reach. It's right there. But it does require your yes. It does require your participation. God wants to show up through you. God wants to demonstrate powerfully through you. And your yes makes it so. So, if nothing was in the way, if nothing was in the way, you've cleared up the toxic energy in your mind, your belief systems are powerful, you are doing the work. I want to ask you, what would you have happen this year that you've been wanting and wishing for but haven't quite demonstrated yet? And I'm going to take 4 people. I'm going to ask 4 people to raise their hands and express to us, what is it you'd like to have happen, you'd like to see happen in the year of 2023. Go ahead, Evelyn, and then Brian.
I intend to buy a house in 2023.
Okay, now the rest of us, what do? We say yes. Because our yes supports Evelyn's dream. And here, I'm going to make this a lesson real quick, and then I want to get to you, Brian, because if there's a piece of you that suddenly felt envious or jealous, because that happens in being human, that happens, we want to wash that out of the way and rise up above it anyway. We want to be champions for Evelyn's house. And Evelyn, that means you're going to have a party and have us all there. Brian, where'd you go, darling? Go ahead, share.
I will say career success and financial security.
Yes. So what do? We say yes to Brian, and we support him. Why? Because Spirit is moving through Brian, but as we see Brian and we believe in his wholeness, Spirit from us is delivering that to Brian. Beautiful. Karen Cooper, is that a clap or a raised hand? I couldn't tell. Oh, looks like it was a clap. Okay, beautiful. So two more people. Go ahead, Edward. Go ahead.
I want to get a successful business going.
Okay. I'm going to tweak you 1 second. Please put that in the affirmative so it lands in our minds in the affirmative. Go ahead, Edward.
I have a successful business going for 2020.
Absolutely. Beautiful. So we say yes to Edward. Yes. Yes, we're behind you, Edward. We're not just behind you. We're going to be behind you. We're going to be next to you for each of you. And some of us might be pulling you forward for those of us who know what that feels like. So that's what we do. One more person. Is there one more person who would like to share? Go ahead, Richard.
I will care for myself and for my health to the height that I will be able to walk both my grandchildren into 3rd grade.
Beautiful. And beyond. And beyond.
And beyond.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. So we're going to say yes to Richard, and those practitioners, especially in the room, we hold him with healing light and love and know that that is activated now. This is God saying yes through us, folks. When you walk the streets, when you're cleaning your house, when you're getting a phone call from that annoying relative, and I say that because this is the human aspects, right? It's important for us to still realize that there is no moment that we are not being God. So everybody hold hands. And let's know together, and I'm going to look at you today as I pray, which I never usually do. I'm going to know for each and every one of you that you activate in you, through you, and as you, the presence and the intelligence and the love of the one. It works through your mind, through your heart, through your soul, through your activities, through your spoken word. I declare for each and every one of us that the desired outcomes that were spoken and the ones not yet spoken are given full license to be demonstrated. I know for everyone here, every face that I'm looking at, that there is full success, full love. There is joyous creative outlet. There is success, financial success, and adventure. God is good and so very good, and it's good through you, through me, through us, through this community. Let us know it, embrace it, and allow it to be so. Thank you, and so it is.